Hello and welcome back, all my Dragon Ball Theorist. I just had a nice little vacation to start the new year and prepare for the awesome 2020 that lies ahead. Who knows what we have in store? Will it be the announcement of the anime or more info on the movie? One thing is for sure, we have an awesome epic arc to continue covering in the Dragon Ball Super Manga, and with the new chapter coming out on the 20th, let's pick up where we left off, with a video discussing the Troublemaker Merus. These aren't my words, but the Grand Priest, and he gave Whis a word of caution before he departed from Zeno's palace, to keep a close eye on that one. So what history is in Merus' past that gives him this description? Where are Whis and Merus going to go if they aren't heading back to Zeno's palace, and what conversation will they have? Let's explore this Troublemaker Merus and see what lies ahead for this angel in the upcoming chapter of the Dragon Ball Super Manga. On the very first panel, we found out that Merus is in training, so the Grand Priest felt it was best to dispatch him to Universe 7 to learn the way of things and broaden his perspective. I think the last part makes more sense after we know that he has been labeled a troublemaker, which means Merus seems to be relatively set in his ways and ideals, and broadening his perspective was a way to break him of his bad habits. The Grand Priest felt the Galactic Patrol was a decent choice, as it would allow him to observe the side of good and virtue. But alas, Merus seems to fall back on his old ways and getting personally attached by choosing sides. Merus acts on his feelings, and this is something that is strictly forbidden for the angels to do. The angels must always act impartially, to be neutral. Beyond that single law, there are no restrictions on what angels can or cannot do. Fortunately, the Daishinkan has been keeping a close eye on the situation to make sure that Merus didn't break this law, as Whis later explains to Goku that any angel who breaks our code are eradicated without a trace. A stunned Goku questions that he thought angels couldn't die, which we learned that this is the only means by which an angel can be removed from existence, and this is the truth of the nature of the angel lifeform. One thing to note that is important is the specific language used by Whis saying eradicated and not erased. Toyotaro wanted to make sure we didn't confuse what we already know, that Zeno has never erased any of the angels. That statement long ago when the angels were spared that fate in the Tournament of Power now makes sense. The angels are simply above it. They come from a completely different dimension of existence, the angel realm, a realm that they must always return to if anything happens to the physical universe. Zeno is the Omni King, the god of gods, but his actual powers don't govern over beings that don't come from the physical realm. Only the Daishinkan himself is the judge and jury over what is acceptable for the angels. We know this to be true as when the Zenos were planning to destroy the universes with the lowest mortal level before Goku arrived, the Grand Priest, knowing that the universes were about to meet this terrible fate, was going to withdraw all the guides back to the angel realm. Many always ask what happened to the erased angels of the previous universes, and the answer is they were never erased and just returned back to their home world. The only time an angel can die is, as Whis tells us, when they break their code and then they are eradicated. So I imagine if Whis didn't interfere or if Merus helped Goku against Moro, then the Grand Priest himself would have destroyed him. That is why the word eradicated was specifically used, as we know angels are never erased. They can only be removed from existence if they break the code. I did a video a while back on what Zeno can't erase, and as the series goes on, we continue to find out more information that confirms that video to be true. I think this information is easily missed as I read the comments and get these types of questions pretty often. Now where do we go from here? Whis tells Merus, be grateful that I'm not dragging you right back to the Grand Priest. Now Whis has taken responsibility for Merus and he is under his supervision, but where exactly are they off to as the chapter ends? It's not Zeno's palace. Is Whis going to show up on Beerus' planet, startling him with an unknown angel at his side, making Beerus question what the heck he has been up to lately? Are they all going to sit there and watch this final battle on Earth unfold through their staff? Or is Beerus going to demand to take him to Earth? Definitely a lot of different directions they could take this, and I know there are a lot of fans hoping that Beerus does something significant in the series. I love the Beerus character, but feel he has been sidelined now through much of the series and even the Broly movie. Whis has taken his role, and Beerus only appears because of their connection, so it would be nice for this god of destruction to step up and take full control of what is transpiring in his universe. I do have a story coming up that will give us fans a fun Beerus interaction, and I think this arc is going to have a rather unique, open ending to segue into the next. One other possibility where Whis is off to, and is a likely scenario, is that Whis is going directly to the Angel Realm, which would be exciting for us to see this Angel homeworld for the very first time. This would show us just how many angels there are, and maybe a glimpse into their origins, or how they are born. So it might be possible that Whis has some big brother advice for Merus, who has lost his path, coming up in the next chapter, where he can advise him on how to become a great guide someday for a god of destruction. This battle might fully rest on Goku, Vegeta, and Earth's heroes stopping Moro. One thing is for sure, is that Whis isn't going to let Merus interfere. I feel like there is a scenario being set up similar to Star Wars, where Luke had to watch his friends fight without him, being tempted by the dark side to use his anger and lash out to defend them. When Whis and Merus are watching this battle on Earth unfold, if Moro gets the upper hand, and it looks like they can't win and are defeated, Merus will have his emotions swell up inside of him. He will feel compelled to help the mortals of Earth. Watching the mortals that he has grown close to suffer and die will be unbearable for him. Merus knows that he must break the Angel Code. He knows he must escape Whis' supervision, even if it means being eradicated. What Merus doesn't realize is that this is likely a final lesson being taught by his father, the Grand Priest, a test to see if Merus learned anything in Universe 7 and actually broaden his perspective, or if he will revert back to his old ways of being this troublemaker for the angels. This is why the Daishinkan told Whis to keep a close eye on that one. Troublemaker or not, he doesn't want to lose an angel. So while Whis and Merus watch Earth fight against Moro and his army, the Grand Priest watches to see how Merus will react while with Whis in the Angel Realm, to see if he can maintain his neutrality and obey the Angel Code. Whis is in a difficult situation because if Merus is able to tap his staff and escape his supervision to assist Goku and Vegeta in their fight against Moro, then this would mean he is responsible for an angel's death since he will be eradicated. I don't think Whis wants that on his plate, since he is already deeply ashamed for his universe being in the restless state that it is. However, I feel the darker version of myself wanting to see the Grand Priest have to use his power and destroy an angel. That would be pretty epic. Tragic, of course, but I want to see the Daishinkan flex on someone. I don't think this will happen though, and I believe Whis, with his intuition, will see Merus' strong emotions taking him over. That this is where he will show Merus that there is always a way to maintain neutrality and be a great guide for your god of destruction. That it is up to the gods to be the force used in keeping balance in the universe. This is where Whis will then take Merus to meet Beerus and let Beerus know that the fate of the Earth is in jeopardy. Beerus will scream at Whis because he hasn't been keeping him informed of what is going on, which is where Whis will say, "I have given you every opportunity to be involved in the balance of the universe, but you wanted to fish and sleep. So I didn't tell you specifically of Goku and Vegeta or Earth's possible fate, because you seem content on letting some planet buster do your job for you." Beerus angrily tells Whis to take him to Earth at once. "I want to observe the situation personally." Whis then smiles and says, "As you wish, my lord." Whis then looks back at Merus and winks. Time for us to depart. Apparently Lord Beerus wants to actually be a destroyer god today. Beerus narrows his eyes and tells Whis to watch his tone. "I swear, you always get me into these situations on purpose." So I believe that for this new Angel Merus, tragedy will be avoided. That Whis just showed him that they must remain neutral, but in a gray area can somewhat influence the outcome, so to speak, without directly fighting or getting involved. I am sure when everything has concluded that Merus will thank Whis for his guidance and see that he has much to learn and that he must keep his emotions in check. That if he becomes a guide for a god of destruction someday, it will be to guide them so they can be that balance the universe needs. The Grand Priest will tell Merus that he has been watching and that while you have failed my test and you still let your emotions get the best of you, thankfully for Whis, he showed you a valuable lesson. A lesson I don't think you will forget. I hope. Well now, I want to hear from all of you. What do you think will happen coming up in the next chapter in regards to this Angel Merus? Will we see the Angel Realm for the first time? Will Merus finally learn from Whis how to be a great guide instead of letting his emotions cause him to break his neutrality and the Angel Code? I always love to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it and smash that like button. Also, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell to keep those theories coming.